Hi, everyone. I'm PeriSean Hall, and I'm the author of The Culture Code, a framework for healing organizational culture. And I have built a healing culture series that I want to share with you. And the first episode begins today. I launched the trailer on yesterday to give you an overview of what we'll be covering. But I'm so glad you're able to join me for this culture series. It's going to be amazing. We're going to go ahead and begin with episode one, which is better alone than in bad company. And I'm speaking of the workplace as well as any other place, whether you're home or in the workplace, and how sometimes we may have to be alone rather than being in toxic company. Now, what's an example of what a toxic situation could be with a person? One example is just negativity. Negativity, I mean, every time you look up, this person just wants to complain, and that is absolutely toxic. So I'm all about helping to heal the workplace culture with the framework that I built with my book, The Culture Code, and you can see that in my description. But we're going to talk about this because this is serious. We know that mental health is affected in many cases, whether that's good or bad, in our culture, what we're around, the people that we're listening to, the people we're surrounding ourselves with can sometimes not be so healthy. Not everyone. And just because someone maybe has toxic tendencies, it doesn't make them a bad person. It just makes you want to look at yourself. I know makes me want to look at myself and say, well, do I really want to be a part of this conversation? Because I want to keep things on an upbeat. I want to have a healthy culture. I want to think well of people. I want to think well of myself. And I want to come across by having a sunny attitude. So it's important in the workplace culture and home, wherever you are, to have a healthy environment. And sometimes that means being alone, even if you have to do that, separating yourself from people in certain instances. I mean, we can't get away from people altogether, but sometimes we just need to steal away to ourselves and kind of just rethink and regroup, go out, get fresh air, take in good breaths and fresh air, and don't take in, we have enough toxins in the environment as it is, but adding negativity or someone who's just not behaving professionally, that kind of behavior, we want to kind of distance ourselves from. I mean, we can't, as I mentioned, we can't be hidden from everyone, but there are times that we will have to engage with toxic people. But most of all, this is all about managing ourselves, managing our emotions, and making sure that we're doing what we can do in order to maintain a healthy culture, a good balance of that. So that's what we're going to talk about. I'm going to come back with some more points, but welcome, and we're going to get this talk going in episode one. All right. Don't forget, it's better alone than being in bad company. And it is important to be around the right company. And so I'll talk about temporary loneliness versus lasting damage. I mean, sometimes it's worth being alone in the workplace. Maybe you have to go to lunch alone, do a lot of things alone, work alone. Maybe you're working from home. And maybe you're in other types of relationships where you've chosen not to be around certain company. So being alone has its advantages, and it is uncomfortable for a moment, but what's even more uncomfortable is being around the wrong people who are causing you scars that are maybe putting you down, just using inappropriate language around you, people getting you upset emotionally. So sometimes it's really good to be alone, to pull away, to recover from those upsetting emotions that people are, sometimes irritating you by saying the wrong things. And you mean well for people, and everybody should mean well for each other. But if you happen to be around people that don't want to do that, they want to make you a target, or maybe you get laughed at a lot for no reason. Maybe you feel like you're being picked out and to be picked on, but sometimes it's best to retreat and be be comfortable. It's uncomfortable at first, but learn to be comfortable with the uncomfortable, as it has been said. So, and the other part is your peace is worth protecting. Nothing is worth your peace. And so a lot of times we can just come back to ourselves and just get alone and just do a woosah, obtain that peace, center yourself to your thoughts and not, what necessarily what happened, just how you're gonna center yourself and speak well to yourself, think good thoughts to bring about your peace, because everybody needs peace, and it is, as I'm gonna continue to repeat, it's better to be alone than to suffer in toxicity, essentially. Okay. And so another thing is, when we walk away from situations that are not healthy, conversations, people saying things, and it's just not the right fit with people. Maybe you have different mindsets, different ways you're approaching life, and they clash. I mean, everybody has their own culture that they bring from home, but sometimes we have to learn to respect ourselves. So if this is a boundary that we've set up, and I'll be talking about that in coming episodes, but if we've set up a boundary for ourselves or we are drawing a line, we deserve self-respect. Just knowing that and acting that way. When you tell people, no, I don't like this, and they continue to do it, well, then it behooves us to have our own self-respect, to move back from that conversation and center on us and just work on healing ourselves. We can't change people, but we can change our environments as individuals, whether it's in the workplace. We can step out for lunch. We can sit in our car for lunch. We can take a walk. We can sometimes in this mobile work environment that we are, where sometimes we're remote, sometimes we're able to move about in different offices. I mean, I've literally had experiences where I have packed up my laptop and just gone to a quiet office to work. And so that's worked for me. That helped me maintain my peace. And it's all about, protecting your own peace and, allowing people to be who they are, but you don't have to be around that if it doesn't work for you. The other part of that is when when you respect yourself, when you take care of yourself, when you maintain your own peace, then you're making space for the right people to come along into your life. There are a lot of loners out there, meaning they spend a lot of time alone. They're not always lonely. Some are, and we do, because I consider myself a somewhat of a loner. Sometimes it's lonely, but I tell you, if it comes to being around, if I have to make a choice being around people that I don't feel comfortable with, I'm going to choose the lonely road, the Lone Ranger road, because I like me, and I'm paying more attention to what's going on inside me and how I need to think and make adjustments and different things of that nature. But you make space for the right people, so you draw the right people. I mean, there should be a mutual respect in any type of relationship that you have, and hopefully we can have and maintain and work towards those types of relationships in the workplace as well as personally. And we know that everything in business and life, it involves relationship. And so we have to learn how to relate to ourselves and hold up our boundaries on how we want to be related to, or and how we want to relate to other people, and recognize their boundaries as well. And so just knowing that culture will shift, your culture will shift when your circle shifts. Okay. And so just be around circles that make you feel welcomed and complimented, and you feel like you're growing, you're being challenged, and versus someone trying to snuff out your light or, suffocate your creativity. We can't have that. So I'll come back and I'll pick up on the last part of this episode. I hope you're getting a lot out of it. And certainly there will be more conversation. I want to wrap this episode up by saying that culture changes when we change. And so culture really changes when we as individuals stop participating in any type of dysfunctional behavior in the workplace. We begin to model a healthier role, the things that I've talked about, getting alone and spending time speaking well of each other, not participating in gossip or hearsay and he said, she said. So we want to model a healthy culture for the workplace and in any environment. And so it involves a lot of self-work. So if we can improve our culture, focus on our self-respect and how we want to be treated and how we treat others, then we can model a healthy, better culture for everyone. We can be the models. Whether people adopt it or not, that is going to be up to them. But it's recognizing what our responsibilities are as individuals who are a part of a culture and allowing other people to make their decisions, and you just model the best behavior. All right. Well, I've enjoyed this time with you. I'm certainly going to be back with more on culture. We've got some more episodes coming back up. And in the meantime, I just want you to know that culture is the goal of culture is to heal inside out. And that healing begins with the individual. Here's your homework. I want you to think about your workplace this week. And when you think about your workplace, I want you to think about where you've been silently or unknowingly participating in dysfunction. Whether you're joining the dysfunction, we have to be aware of that. I want you to think about that and think about what boundary shift you can make when you recognize that you've participated in a particular dysfunction. I want you to think about that and go ahead and drop your comments there for me, and we will talk about it more in the coming episode. Episode 2 is up next. All right, thanks for joining me. We'll talk soon.